Hey, Sparkles Streaming Audio Must Lines. It's me, Sparkles with Aether. Come to a video. In this video, I am doing Sheild Hero characters mixed with what was that again? MHA. I combined the Bow Hero with Todoroki, Kayasu the Spear Hero front with Katsuki, then Ren Akami, aka the Sword Hero, with Rinshima, then Momoya Rose with Talia, Eri with Philo, and Ezekiel Medora with Naofumi. I also drew a cover art for a series, a book I'm writing on Wattpad. It's a fanfic, and yeah. Also, my submission for New Year, New Gods. It's a drawing event on the Popcast Community Redraw. Without further ado, let's roll intro and let's get into this video and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Name: Todoroki. Weapon: bow. Hero: icy hot archer. He was running through the forest when, with his power activated, he was summoning an arrow that had a body of fire and a spear tip of ice. He shot it into the air, not going that far due to him not being able to activate his bow for some reason. He continued running through the forest. He also then saw multiple slashes coming after him, dodging all of them. Wonder why he was running? Well, it's every stuff from the beginning. In this world, everyone has powers known as They're known as weapon powers. They are exactly what they sound like. They have a weapon and they can boast the power, and due to it, it's all magic based. There's only around 4 main heroes that have different elements, but some are a little more interesting than others. Like Todoroki, he's actually one of the only 4 that have gained the rank of Cardinal Hero. Cardinal Hero is a rank that is by far the hardest to earn, right next to the King. You see, Cardinal Heroes are based off of cardinal virtue, like the Sheild Heroes one. He is the Cardinal Hero of he had the Sin series first. First move known as Strengthening Wrath. That was his Sin series. But each of them have the ability to switch over between the Curse series and their regular series and the Virtue series. But they all don't really use those powers because it's quite taxing on their bodies. Hence, it's his trump card. Todoroki has 2 divided hair, and the reason why he's running is because, he was just minding his own business, going to the Adventuring Guild after school to go on a mission so he can gain some money to pay for his tuition. But he misunderstood this one thing. The mission he chose was to hunt an individual in a forest. He made a very wrong idea. That brings us back to here. He had cornered his opponent in the forest, but it was a little rabbit of sorts, but it soon looked at him, and its terrified expression soon shifted into a look of pure malice. Its scared expression turned into a wicked smile. It grew 15 feet tall, humanoid with razor-sharp fangs and claws. Since it was a monster, It didn't need a weapon. It had elemental powers. This one had elemental powers of air, but it was also able to summon blades of air sharp enough to cut through a 5-foot diameter tree in an instant. Todasuke knew he wasn't going to get out of this alive, if he was lucky. The creature hit his hand, and for some reason it also encased it in a spell that could stop his powers. But he was only stop his greater powers. His ability to summon his elemental bow, which is known as the Ice Hot Bow. The body of the bow is made of ice, whereas the actual string is made of fire. Now he's only able to summon the arrows for it. He kept dodging and evading, left and right, but he soon ran to a cliff. But he was about to jump off when he saw the monster coming towards him. He felt that his power was coming back, so he ran to the nearest tree, jumped into it, and he waited. 5 seconds later, the creature jumped out of the brushes, and he summoned his bow, notched an arrow, pulled it back, and fired. But it didn't hit. Instead, what he heard was a loud boom. Name, Kayasu. Weapon, spear. Hero, spear. Spearum, explosive. Kayasu is mostly known by as a hero known as Spearum, explosive. The spear is his main weapon, but he's also got the explosive part because of its explosive abilities. But even without his explosions of his spear, he's still quite a formidable opponent. He has the ability to use explosion magic and that kind of stuff, but he's also master hand-to-hand combat. He's quite a stocky built person, so a fist fight is not a good thing to fight him in. He had heard about the mission that Todasuke was going on. He decided to tag along in secret, hoping to get the kill. He was the one who had the Pride series and Sin Pride series of Wrath of Pride, the egotistical Pride series, more like it. He was also not very liked by a lot of people. Most people didn't like him because of his personality. He was the reason why the arrow didn't hit. And instead, Todeyasu heard the explosion. The reason why is because the arrow did hit, but right before it did hit, though, Kayasu hit it with his own explosion, causing it to veer off course, and that same explosion knocked the thing in the face and kicked the creature off of the top of the mountain, sending it hurtling down to the valley below. Todeyasu jumped off the tree, ran over and said, "What was that for? I lost my kill!" Kayasu said, "Well, I'm better than you. So was my kill." Yasu, mostly known by Yasu as a nickname, he was a very prideful individual, like stated, but he thinks he's better than everyone, as well as that. Todasuke said, "I was the one who took up this mission. You didn't. You just tag along. I was the one who actually had the idea first, but you gotta get there first." "How does that even make sense?" Todasuke said. "I'm just gonna go down and get the creature." Todasuke then jumped down into the valley below, igniting flames from his hands. He had the ability to use flame magic and ice magic as well. Kayasu then jumped down, using explosions to slow his fall. Soon, both of them landed on the valley below. But what they met was, well, a hero they both knew well, and Kayasu really was kind of only somewhat friends with. Name: Rinshima. Weapon: sword. Hero: hardening blade. Rinshima is a very courageous hero. He was the one who managed to track both Kayasu and Todasuke to where the monster was located. But he wasn't one to steal other hero's glory. He more or less just found them and made sure no one else killed it. He has the ability to harden his blade, like, extremely hard, hardening his blade. He usually gets along quite well with the final hero, but the other two see that guy as a sort of a traitor. Rinshima, though, knows he is innocent, though. You see, Rinshima was the only one that believed the princess was lying to him. He, being a very courageous person and very intelligent, he was able to see through a lie really easily. That, and he had a rare type of magic known as truth magic. Any type of lie is filtered through his brain, and the magic is then enhanced for him to actually tell the truth or not. Pretty much he's only hearing the truth, nothing but the truth. No, he's a human lie detector. But he also has the ability to use hardening magic on himself. What it does, it hardens his physical body by encasing it in more skin. It causes his skin to grow thicker and sometimes jagged itself out. He is somewhat very good friends with Kayasu. Doesn't really like the guy, but he hangs out with him to actually try and persuade the guy that the princess was lying. But he mostly spends his time with the final hero. Todasuke doesn't really believe the princess or the final hero, but Rinshima knew the guy a little too well. You see, so right as they jumped down and got down, also for the record, Rinshima was the only friend to the person when they got their powers. So the two heroes jumped down and they saw Rinshima and said, "So, Kayasu said, so what are you gonna do to steal my kill?" Todasuke said, "What are you talking about? That was my kill. I'm the one who tracked it and fired. You were the one who caused the explosion, veering off my attack. Like I said, I was the one who followed you, so what's my kill?" Rinshima said, "Both of you shut up. It is Todasuke's kill. He's the one who took the mission." And he threw his blade at Kayasu. "I'm just this close of giving this kill to the other hero, because both of you are bickering like little kids." Speaking of little kids, behind him appeared a group of two adults that were around the same age as them, and a child. And the one adult looked more of a demi-human than anything else. She said, "Now, what on earth are y'all two talking about this time?" Name: Talia. Weapon: sword. Right? Weapon: sword, yin yang blade. Hero: yin yang blade. She has the ability to use both creation magic, which allows her to create physical objects and imbue them with some magic, and the ability to use light and dark magic. She has mostly known for her ability to detect when someone has good intentions or bad intentions, as well as going invisible both in day and in night really easily. She was the girlfriend, now fiance, of the final hero. He saved her from slavery. You see, Talia is a demi-human. She's more of a raccoon hybrid. Her hair color is black, and she is fairly attractive. Dodosuke actually had a crush on her for quite some time, but he didn't really act on it. He knew that she was with the final hero. The final hero is way stronger than all three put together, so he knew to keep his distance. Kayasu, though, never knew to keep his mouth shut, especially around demi-humans. Kayasu said, "Oh, you filthy Danny, what are you doing here? And here with your weak boyfriend, too?" "For your information, he's now my fiancé." "Well, color me impressed, Deku. Well, you actually got a girlfriend. Well, sorry, fiancé." The final hero was called a Deku due to his abilities being, well, quote-unquote, weak. His weapon was a shield. Although Katsuma never really knew the full scope of his powers. Talia said, "Rinshima told us about what was going on here, so we decided to follow him and see what was going to happen. Obviously, y'all are still gonna be acting like children all the time." Talia said, the final hero, known as Deku, said, "Y'all three, hey, Crumba, y'all three need to learn to shut up and be nice to others. Especially you, Katsuyu." "Babe, can you get the other two out of here?" Rinshima will leave, but Kayasu, he needs to go. With pleasure. She then created a blunt weapon and lunged at Katsuyu. Katsuyu, not really seeing the attack because she thought she was a weak opponent, he didn't really try to dodge. He thought she was going to be weak, but the hit that hit him was stronger. It was enough to knock him out cold by slamming into the side of his head and fling him into a tree. Rinshima said, I'm out. Motayo looked up and said, "Dosuke, this is your kill, you can have it." Dodosuke said, "Thanks. I will give you all some money as a thanks." The hero known as Deku said, "No need. We have enough money." Dodosuke said, "Really?" The other hero said, "Yeah, you take out a few hundred dungeons, you would get enough money in no time." "Yeah, well, see ya." He then summoned an ice-tipped arrow with a flame body and launched it into the creature's head, killing it. But then the hero walked over and picked up a piece, more or less a fang of the creature, and said, "But I will be taking this." He then placed it against the shield, and the piece was absorbed into the shield. The shield then shifted into a fuzzy version of it. In the middle was the orb that was a green color, and it glowed. It had surrounded by jagged teeth. The other two, the heroes Motalia and the hero known as Deku and their child, walked away. On the way back to their house, the child spoke. "Mommy, Daddy, what was all that about?" "Name, Fairy. Weapon, Talons. Correction, Talon Blades. Hero, Aerial Talons." with the ability to actually reverse time using reversal time magic. You see, she is the adoptive daughter of both the final hero, known as Deku, and Talia. Talia, let's just say, is quite affectionate for their daughter, and so is the hero. He doesn't really tell most people his name because people really don't like him. When Fairy was younger, around 5 years old, she's now 7, he took some of her hair with her permission. After cutting it, which she wanted him to do, he put some of it into his shield to see if he can use it as storage, as maybe he might want to make some with it in the future. But the shield accidentally absorbed it. He soon gained the ability of a Filial shield. He has the ability to, it was a reversal Filial shield. Reversal because it was a time control shield as well as an aerial shield. It can cause, an advanced version of airstrike shield known as air barrier. It's a larger, about the size of a small house, and he can also use the jagged edges of the claws that come off the top of it as actual weapon. Fairy has 2 forms: her Filial Queen form and her humanoid form. In her humanoid form, she looks pretty much like a human, except for her wings. She can't fly though, but while in her human form, her talons are quite visible. You see, she has the ability to summon little weapons that come off her hands. It's like a glove for her. It always encases her hand, and she can use this to climb walls and also use aerial claws. It's a very strong move. And for the record, why everyone is called, the hero is a nickname they have. It's a nickname they are assigned at birth. They're all referring to either the type of magic they have, or their personality, or their weapon. But it's always really powerful, depending on the person. Some are more powerful than others. Some are just downright useless. Some are dormant and nearly useless until certain criteria are met. A good example of this is the final hero that was called Deku, but his real name that's very people even know, is Izufumi. His weapon already stated was Shield, but his hero name is Omni Shield. Now, most people know that Omni means all, and Shield. The reason why people thought it was useless was because they thought it was only for offensive purposes. But they soon found out it has the abilities to absorb things. He has gained a lot of abilities over the years. He went to school. He still does go to school with the others. Kayasu, Talia, Todasuke, and Rinshima. Their adoptive daughter sometimes goes to their school, or just goes to her kindergarten class. But they all go to the Avengers Guild together. They go on a mission, and sometimes they're known to clear out dungeons. They're known as the dungeon clearers by most people. The reason being is because, like stated earlier as well, the two of them, Talia and Izufumi, have, taken out a few hundred, nearly a few thousand dungeons by themselves. Even a few bosses were never safe. He gained a dragon shield skill, out of killing one dungeon boss. It was a very powerful dragon. And he mostly uses his reversible Filial shield to heal injuries on him. He learned it was a very hard type of magic to control from both his experiences with his shield and his daughter. He has a really hard time actually trusting others due to his past. You see, the princess of the nation they're in, lived in, once framed him for raping her. He never did such a thing, but the stigma stuck around with him for years. No one trusted him until the queen, not really didn't stick around for years, but close to a single year in maybe a few months or so. The queen proved it wrong, and, he has a secondary ability that allows him to enhance every capability he has. Stamina, speed, everything besides intelligence. But that doesn't really matter because he's also a really intelligent person. But he has a cold personality due to him being betrayed. But now he's engaged to Talia. He has an adoptive daughter. He is a very happy person to most people that are close to him. And that is the first story of these people, and the only story that is available. Well, like I said in the intro, this is going to be my 2 personal drawings. My first one is the cover art for my for the story, and the second one is my submission. So without further ado, let's get into the 2 of them. Well, these last 2 drawings aren't part of the story at all. Matter of factly, they are just 2 personal drawings. One is for a submission, and one is for a story I'm writing. If you've ever played Genshin Impact, you would know one of the characters, one of the twins, is named Aether. And I was bored, and I got the idea for what if the goddess had cursed him and put him in the body of a hilly troll. But I also added, but what if him and a part of Rimuru had a share body? Since that happened, I got the idea for a guidance of Rimuru Crystal. I will put a link to that to my story in the description. It's on Wattpad. It's known as Aether Tempest, Tensura and Genshin Impact crossover. It's a pretty interesting story. I've made 3 chapters thus far, and I know this drawing turned out pretty weird, but it's going to be staying in the title. But I do promise you I will be making actual drawings for the races that I'm introducing. Because trust me, there's going to be a lot of these creatures. And, that's all for this video. For this one. Let's get to the next drawing. Now, this one is, the one I'm making for the submission. This one didn't really take me too long, but it did be a interesting idea. Like I stated, it's a submission for the podcast community, not for the community redraw, but for a event called New Gods, New Year, New Gods. It's a interesting idea, and one of the factions was known as Red Devils. So that's the one I went with, because, I am okay with drawing demons, and I also like how this one turned out. The axes are known as report and kick, because one of them, the first one, actually has a weapon known as the banhammer. So I was like, there's 2 other parts, report and kick. The kick blade is actually a little bit bigger than the report axe. So yeah. Now that's all for these drawings. Well, that's all the time I got for today. Until next time, subscribe today to join the Spike Stormy or Demon Alliance. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.